Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I want to work on these ceramic trays that I picked up at Dollar Tree last week. I found these down by where they have the picture frames and things, actually where I found these, near the Crafter Square stuff, but not actually in with the Crafter Square stuff. So I picked up this round one. They're just called ceramic trays. I don't know if that's coming in clear, in case anybody wants a number, but yeah, they're just calling them a ceramic tray, and it's just the raw ceramic. It's dusty. There's no coatings, anything on here. So I picked up this round one, which is, let me tell you guys here, I did measure it in my haul, I believe. This is about 5.5 inch circle, and this is about 5 3/4 inch for the square. So I want to decoupage some of my pretty napkins on here. I think these would make a cute little gift for anybody if you wanted to, you know, make it and maybe add some little goodies to it or something, but like, you know, little trivet tray kind of thing. But I have these cute napkins. I have this one here. I believe I got this one from decoupagenapkins.com. I have so many napkins that I've collected over the years. I really can't remember where they all came from. Some people sent me some. I pick them up at my grocery store. I pick them up wherever I see them. I've gotten them off of Etsy, Amazon, Temu, so it's hard to keep track. But anyway, I have this pretty one too here with this manger scene that I want to do on the, I believe I could do that one on the square one because it'll fit a lot more of the image on there. So to do these, I'm going to put 2 coats of this plaster colored chalk paint on here just to give it a finish, because it has, like I said, it's just the raw like ceramic or plastic, whatever it is. But yeah, I like this color. This will make the napkins show up really nice. But before you do that, you're going to want to trace out your images. So all I did was I took the square one, I laid it on top of here, and then I took the round one, figured out I wanted to try to get that little birdie and everything in there. So I just kind of laid it on there. Just took a pen, nothing special. I just, you know, made a circle around it, and then I just cut out this little circle. And then you're going to have to peel off your other plies to it, because you want to get it down to the 1 ply of napkin. Otherwise it'll really wrinkle and bunch up on you, and you don't want that. This might be a 3-ply napkin. I do like a 3-ply napkin, but not when I got to take it apart. Alright, I'll mess with that later. No, maybe that's it. I don't know. It feels very thick yet. We'll see. Yeah, it might be another one. And same with this one. I just traced around it, cut it out, and there you go. You have your image. And then you just take it apart. I believe this was the 3-ply too. Yeah, it was. Both of those came off easy. So that'll fit on there beautifully. We'll have to try to get that other ply off of here. Let's see if I can get my hand sticky and I'll pull apart. If you take 2 pieces of tape, I don't want to put any tape on this right now because I'm afraid I'm going to rip it. Maybe I should have done that before I cut it out. Anyway, I'll mess with that after to get the other ply off of that one. But if before you cut it out, if you want to take the plies off, if you just take a couple pieces of tape, one on each side, and pull, it'll pull your napkins apart. But I didn't think to do that, of course. But anyway, I'm going to put 2 coats of this plaster color on both of these things here. I wanted to get a head start, so this stuff has a chance to dry. So I'm just going to take the plaster colored chalk paint and give this a good 2 coats on each one. I'm going to do bottoms also, not just the tops on these, you know, because it will have that rough edge or surface to it if you don't. And, you know, you don't want that. Alright, so they're really easy. And these things dry quick, too, when you're painting on this ceramic stuff. So you kind of got to get what you want on here and even it out before it starts to dry. I don't want too much on the edge. This is why I have paint all over my hands, because I was trying to do the other side. You know, just see a little head start here. And, yeah, of course, you know, I don't have any patience, so I just move everything with my fingers, even when it's still wet. But see, this is already starting to dry, so you really gotta move quick with this. And then that'll be this pretty plaster color, which brightens it up. It gives it a nice background, something to put your Mod Podge on to grab your napkin to decoupage that on there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. And then as soon as these dry, we're going to come back and start putting these together. Okay, these are both nice and dry now. I actually let them sit overnight just because it was getting late by the time I started this video. I did get that other ply off of here, so now we're down to our single ply of napkin. So now I'm just going to get this in here and line it up before I do anything. And I think that looks pretty good. So I am going to put an edge on these too, so if it's not exactly perfect, it's going to be fine. But that looks pretty good right there, I think. Well, maybe up a little. All right, so we're going to go right there. So I'm just going to take a little bit of Mod Podge. This is just the glossy Mod Podge. You can use whatever kind you want that I get from Dollar Tree. Now I am just going to put one little line here just to get this started and keep this where I want it. Now these napkins, when you get down to the one ply, is really thin. If you prefer to put it on the plate first, I mean, that's fine too. But I find it easier for me to just go over top of it once I get it in place, and it goes right through the napkin. Like I said, they're very thin when you get to the one ply, so it's really not necessary to go under it unless, like I said, everybody has their own way of doing it, but this way I find much easier. And I like to use quite a bit of Mod Podge to make sure I get everything smoothed out, not get too many wrinkles. Then I like to get my lines here all going the same direction. So I'm going to go around the edges just on the top here. So if there's anything hanging over, I'm going to trim that off later. A little bit of that ripped off already. I'm going to trim that off later with a nail file. But this is just such an easy project to do, and it's going to be adorable. There's so many pretty napkins out there. Just trying to make sure I get it. Oh, because, you know, it has like that little dip in it here, so you kind of want to make sure you get that all in there good. Mainly make sure you get all your edges down good. You don't want them sticking up on you when you're done. But this is just such a simple little project to do. Like I said, it'll make a great little gift if you just want to add something to it and give it to someone. Or just keep it. Keep it for yourself. It'll make a cute little decoration. You could put some little soaps on it or something, or whatever. Now, depending on what you want to seal this with, I mean, you could use it for all kinds of things. They have the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, which I'm not going to use because mine is old, and I did a test on, was it this one here? Yeah, and it's real, and it's kind of yellowed, so I'm not going to use mine, but they do have the dishwasher safe. I just need a new container of this because this is really old. But I don't know if I'd ever want to put these through a dishwasher, even with that on there. And that stuff dries in a few hours, but it does tell you to let it cure for 28 days, you know, before you attempt to put it in a dishwasher. All right, I think that looks pretty good here. All my lines going in the same place here. All right, there she is. So we're going to let her dry. A lot of this crinkly look, you know, once it dries, you won't really see that anymore. You don't want too many wrinkles in there, but I don't want to mess with this too much. This is a very thin napkin now. Some are much heavier. The other napkin that I have is a lot heavier than this one is. So you just got to be careful because you don't want to tear it. Because then you got to start all over. Alright, so there she is. So that'll dry nice and clear. So now we're going to do the same thing here with our square plate. We're going to take our nativity scene and line this up. And this one has a lot of ink in it. I hope that this is going to behave itself and go soak right through like I like it to. All right, so we're just gonna put some right there on that side. Smooth that down real easy. Just to make sure we have it lined up where we want it. All right, that's stuck down very nice. I might try, let's try this one because I don't always have luck doing it this way. Well, let's try a little bit at a time here and see if I can get this to lay down nice. It's working out pretty good, actually. Like I said, this is a much thicker napkin to work with. So I thought maybe we try a little underneath. I'll have a little better luck with this one. There we go. That laid down very nicely. So you can feel it coming through. So I'm going to go over top of it. I'm going to put a nice coat on here. Make sure all these edges are sealed down nice. This one I think is going to come out nicer than the other one. But like I said, some napkins are just easier to work with, honestly, depending on the brand. Oh, I made a little wrinkle in that one. There we go. Alright, let me just go down along this edge here. And that's that. That one was very simple to do. Make sure my corners are down. Alright, so now we're just going to let these dry. Then we're going to come back, we're going to trim them off. I'm actually going to use this to seal mine. If the wind will calm down for me, because of course today we're having winds like 30 miles an hour and gusting up to 50. So we'll see if I can get this done in a break with the wind out there. But I'm going to also trim the edges with this metallic gold. I think that'll make them look really pretty. So once these dry, we'll come back and finish these up. Alright, these are all nice and dry. Now around the edges here, I'm taking my nail file. I get these at Dollar Tree. They come usually 3 in a pack. And you're just going to want to go around the edge of it. If you have any of this napkin that's, you know, hanging over, that's not glued down, that will take that right off of there. I don't know if this I want there, so that's supposed to be there. There we go. You just don't want to lift up. I can do it this way a little bit and then pull it down, and then that'll take off anything that's hanging over the edge if you happen to. I did pretty good measuring this, so it's not too bad. But I already did the other one, so you don't have to listen to me sand these things, because that's annoying. But yeah, I think that's good. See, one piece there that's loose. Alright, so yeah, that's that. That's all you gotta do to get the excess off. I have my pieces of napkin, the other plies that I peeled off the back that I can use for this next part here. So let me stick that over here out of my way. Now you're gonna need a little sponge brush. I'm gonna be using this Deco Art Dazzling Metallic. I believe I got this at Michael's. You can look at Walmart too. They have some metallic paints, all kinds of stuff. It's just an acrylic paint that we're just going to go around the edge to kind of finish these off a little bit. And I think it's going to look pretty. And I don't want a lot of it on my sponge, but all right, so let's see. Oh, I think that's good right there. And you're just going to tap it on the edge so it kind of goes, you don't want under too much. That's going under too much. Hang on. Maybe I better set it down and do this. I'm going to have to file that off now, aren't I? All right. Strike that. Let's not do it from the underneath. Let's do it from the top. And get that nice gold rim going around here. And that'll just, it just kind of finishes it off so it doesn't just look like a napkin that's glued to a plate. It looks like a nice finished plate. Now, if I can stop getting it where I don't want it, I'll be doing good. Yes, that's much better, so then you won't have to clean that up underneath. All right. Not too much on here again. Yep, just tap it from the top. That seems to be working. Let me slide up here a little more. Working much better. Give yourself a nice little gold finish here. I might have to go over this again too. I don't know. We'll see how it looks when we're all done. Just do it very lightly. And as long as you get it before it dries, it'll come right off of here before, you know, if you got it down here too far like I just did there, it comes right off. All right. And you want to do this before you put your sealer on too, because you want this to be underneath, of course. Down here a little more, because for some reason that right there I didn't get very good. I think that's where I was wiping it off. Alright, so we're going to leave that alone now and let it dry. But look how pretty it looks with the gold finish. Looks expensive, but I do got to get that off there. Ugh, that makes me mad. Alright, I'm just going to do the same thing with this guy here. Just going to go around the edge, add some gold. I think this one I can no, I better not do it that way either. We're just going to go from the top here again. It doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. You could try doing it with a brush too if you wanted to. I don't have any luck with that because my hands aren't that steady. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's a DIY. I'm actually tapping my hand off the table more than I am on this thing. Alright. Almost done. We're getting there. And then after you go around, if you see spots where you, like here I see I didn't get enough, just go back and add some more. It's easier to add more than try to get this off when, you know, it's somewhere you don't want it too much. Oh, that's pretty. I like the gold. I wasn't sure if I was going to like the gold on this one. I knew I was going to like it on that little angel one because it just... See, I didn't get that off and now it's dry. It just kind of matches that one really good, but I wasn't too sure on how this was going to look on this blue, but I love it, so I'm just going to add a little more up here. I think that looks good there. A little extra on the corners. I think I'm going to leave well enough alone. Alright, and I think that looks so lovely, just like so. Alright, so now all I have to do, I'm going to wait for this to dry, and I am going to attempt to put my satin finish on top of this. Mainly, I mean, you don't even have to if you're not planning on, you know, like washing this off or whatever. But I think it'll make it easier to, you know, like to keep it cleaner, depending on what you're doing with it. You know what I mean? Or you could just put another coat of Mod Podge on here just to be able to dust it off and stuff. But I want to be able to, you know, like wipe it down real good. So I am going to put that, it's a satin clear Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover. I love this stuff. Seals, protects, it says. So yeah, okay, so as soon as this is dry, I'm going to take these outside. I'm not taking my camera out to get paint sprayed all over it in this wind, but I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all finished. Alright everybody, these are all done now. I just gave them 2 light coats, just a very light coat, 2 of them. I just kind of want to go over it real quick. And on the back, I actually, with a Sharpie, before I sprayed it, I wrote 2025 just so I have the year on here. You could write a little note, whatever, and then spray over top of it, and that'll stay there forever. But yeah, and I sanded off with my nail file some of the gold that wasn't exactly where I wanted it. But look how pretty. I love this. I think it came out really nice. It'll make a nice little gift. And then this one here, too, same thing. I just did 2 quick coats on the back and then on the front. And then I think she's so cute. Look at that. See the little birdie up in the tree and stuff. Pretty sure I got that from decoupagenapkins.com. If anybody wants to look and see if they still have the angel napkins. But yeah, so cute. But that's my little project for today. Quick, easy, inexpensive little gift idea, or just for decoration for yourself. You could put this on a little stand. They would just be adorable. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. I will see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.